TJ the Wheel Joe coming at you live. It is, what is today? Tuesday, January the 6th. Is it Insurrection Day? Is that when the insurrection thing happened or no? Whenever Trump lost to Biden? I don't know. I feel like for whatever reasons that day sticks out in my mind. How are you guys doing? I'm TJ the Wheel Joe. I sell puts. I sell calls for a living. I roll what makes dollars and cents. I've been known to buy the timely leaps as well. Classes in session this morning, guys. We sell options live on this channel, and we do a lot of live Q&A along the way. So if you got some questions that you'd like to be answered, put them in the chat. And as I go through the portfolio updates, there's 8 portfolios, so it takes a while. I will, go back and forth. I'll toggle back and forth to the chat, and I'll make sure to get to some of y'all's questions. What's going on, Manish? Let's give a shout out to Manish, guys. Him and Alex, Bill White chimed in as well, have been very instrumental in getting the manuscript up to snuff. I've spoken with Carlos from Finance Junkies. He's given me a couple of good ideas as well. So I think we're close. We're ready to have a Wheelers on it to discuss all things TJ the Wheel Deal, manufacturing the win. And the objective is to try to go from good to great. I think the manuscript is good. Let's get it great. We're going to put something out there for the world with our name on it. Let's get it as good as it can possibly be. Have big dreams for the book. I want it to become like the Bible of selling options, if you will. So I want to take my time, deliver the right product. In the interim, y'all already have iterations of the manuscript, right? So y'all already got the sneak peek. That is, the members have access to that. That's the whole objective of being a member, is you get all the good stuff before anyone else. So I'm hoping within a month I have something that I'm like, okay, this thing's ready. Let's go. Let's talk to the publishing house and let's get it done. What's going on, Mike? What's going on, Will? Angel? What's going on, Midwest? See some of the Wrench Squad here. Shamu, Daniel. Appreciate you guys. Some of y'all be sitting in the back of the class. I see y'all over there. What's going on, Tony? Rick, how are you guys? Good day. SoFi looking great today. I thought it was down. I don't know if it's a great day for selling puts. It seemed like it was a great day for selling puts. So anyway, we'll see. Let's see what's going on with the portfolio. So I'm going to go ahead and do a portfolio update. Says looking for a trade right now. The whole objective is looking for a trade. And then, a gentleman, I've been doing this 1 minute with God. It's a daily devotional. Been doing them on Twitter, and this gentleman was like, "Hey, you can do that on your live." So I got my meta glasses here. So if y'all remind me, I'll be able to do the 1 minute with God. I use the glasses so that one, it helps me read. Two, I'm able to record it. That way, I'm able to go from there and post it on the X as well. That's like my whole goal for X for the entire year, is to not miss one day and do the daily devotional 365 days over there. It takes about a minute or two. So I'll try to squeeze that in around here somewhere. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's see here. It was pretty red. It was green just a little while ago. So something must have started tanking. Let me go over to the web, where I just feel like it's a little easier on the eyes because the font's a little bit bigger. So let's do that. Let's get this thing going here. Okay, super. So I'm going to go ahead and make the screen as large as I can. I believe that's the biggest. Yeah, that's the biggest we can go there as well without losing our capital requirement. That capital requirement is very, very critical for me. So let's start. Every day is going to be the same thing. We're always going to start with the little account, the DGen account, right? This is Son's account, TJ the Wheel Deal account. We got one position on here. It's a about a $59,000 net lick as of this morning, 59,000. I think it went up to like 60,000 at one point whenever BMNU was over $7. We got 8,500 shares and we own them at 613. That's what's going on here. So we're down 1,300, 1,400 bucks for the day, 1,500 and tanking. Collectively up 5,700 or so on the shares. Obviously, it's going to fluctuate. We're live. So, I mean, the market's live, right? It's moving and grooving. And then we got covered calls against those shares. See, the negative 85 corresponds to the 8,500 shares because it's multipliers of 100. One contract represents 100 shares, whether you're buying or selling. In this case, we have an agreement to sell 8,500 shares of BMNU at $11 on January the 16th, which is 10 days from now. So that's how you read the tape. Negative 85 is the amount of contracts. January the 16th is the expiration date. 10 days is the days to expiration, so it counts it out for you. 11 days, 11 is the strike price. C represents that it's a call. If it was a put, it would have a P. Trade price, 0.39, that's the premium received per share. So you multiply that times 100, so that makes it $39 times 85, and that gives you the total premium, which in this case would be the 2,680 plus the 600, the 2,670 plus the 680 in extrinsic value. I hope y'all can appreciate that I'm taking the time to show you how to read the tape, because if you're newer to selling options and you see this platform, you see this user interface, you compare it to a very easy to read vanilla platform like a Robinhood, you're like, oh, this is intimidating. But the reality is it's just that all the metrics are there because they're very pertinent. It's like, I believe Rick's a pilot. So you need these metrics. You need these metrics to keep the plane in the air. That's the reality. So that's why I have all of these metrics here. We have filters here. We can add more metrics. We can take more metrics. But these are the metrics that I feel like are necessary for me to be able to eyeball it and be like, okay, I think we're going to be in good shape. The days to expiration is over here. The days open is over here. The profit and loss year to date, the day they open, that's pretty standard stuff. DTs, days to expiration, the theta, that's how much time is coming off the clock on your option. How much money is coming off the clock on a daily basis. And this is going to escalate as you get closer to expiration. And then the capital requirement is how much money is it tying up? So I just told you all this is like a $59,000 account and we're at $59,000. So it's 100% allocation to this particular position. That's what it means, essentially. It's 100% allocation. So that's what we got going on here. So I feel pretty good about it. What is the Goldilocks scenario for this thing to shoot up to $11? Because then you got $11 times 8,500 bucks. Like 93 grand or whatever. That's the best case scenario for the position. So a lot of these naysayers where they're like, oh my God, you're going to cap your gains. You're selling covered calls. Oh my God. I'm like, oh, dude, I mean, you wouldn't be okay selling these shares at 11. You bought them for 613 with an adjusted cost basis of 573. Because at 573 on the top is taking into account the 39 cents per share. And this is just the first round of covered calls. What if it's trading at like 1090? You do it again instead of, $3,400 that I got there for premiums. The next round would be like $6,000 or $7,000 in premiums. So now you got a rental that you paid, whatever that is, 50 grand or whatever it is, right? 55 grand. And then it's yielding you $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in premiums per month. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy, guys. Let's keep it going. Account ending in 90. This is a $96,000 net liquidation value this morning. I took some risk off the table on this particular account. We kind of been off. Actually, this is a wrong account. It's not what I'm thinking of. Account ending in 45. Kind of got out to a rough start on this one. To a couple of losers. It was down like 9 or 10 grand at one point on this particular account. We've since bounced back. So what we got going on here is we've got 2,500 shares owned at 572. And then we got covered calls against those shares at $8, 10 days from now. So we picked up 45 cents. That's how it gets you to the 527. So I feel pretty good about this position. We had 50 short puts at $7. I opted to take those off the table, maybe lost like 2 or 300 on those. I don't know if I'll be able to see. Maybe if I go over here to the order chain, you'll be able to see. Yeah. So we lost a little bit of money on the short puts, and that's okay. And that's okay because I just thought that it was safer to lose a little bit of money versus potentially take ownership of more shares at $7. I'm kind of like hoping for a little bit of a pullback here today. I think that it'd be healthy for BMNR, BMNU, Ethereum, Bitcoin. I think it'd be healthy for everything to take like a little bit of a leg down and breathe, consolidate for a day or two, and then go for another rung up the ladder. I think that's just healthy. It's healthy in general. So I'm kind of hoping that happens, and then maybe I can consider adding another 500 shares over here, something like that. And then we've got the easy money play of the day over here, 129 days out, an agreement to buy 5,000 shares of PayPal at 52.50 with quite a bit of extrinsic value. So if you're going to have something really risky on, you got to have an easy money play to back it up, right? This is kind of like I'm treating it like a mini backstop trade here. I'm like, if I screw the pooch over here, well, I'm cash grabbing over here on PayPal, making a cool 12,000. And that'll kind of like ease the pain, if you will. So I'm already anticipating that there potentially could be an accident. The patient's going to end up in the hospital. So this is going to be the remedy. We're going to use PayPal as the remedy, right? So I do have a little bit of degen in me at times, and I know how to risk it for the brisket. We're in Texas. We don't do it for the biscuit over here. We do it for the brisket. When I see an opportunity, man, I go for it. Account ending in 19. This is a $650,000 account. Net lick, again, only 4 positions. I've got the days to expiration all lined up over here. Let's walk through this position. We got the 2,000 shares of BMNR at 39.20. So we're getting annihilated on those particular shares. And we've gotten an agreement to sell those shares at 42, and we're doing very, very well on those covered calls. So the covered call campaign is working picture perfect. In a perfect world, this thing would inch towards $39 because then the next round of covered calls would yield a lot more money than the 1,900 or so that we brought in this time around. MSTR, we've got short puts at 140, 25 of those expiring in 10 days. We're up $8,200, down a little bit today, but there's still $3,975 of extrinsic value there. I want to milk all of that premium. B, strategy at 140 just doesn't scare me. It excites me. So I'm just like, I'm not going to try to lock in and win. I'm like, I want to go get as much money as I can because the worst case scenario for you guys, in my mind, is the best case scenario. Potentially have an opportunity to own strategy at $140 a share. I think I can manufacture the win over there. And then we got a bigger position, an agreement to buy 5,000 shares of strategy at $160 down the road. This is the cash grab position that's gone against us, and we will stay in this trade for the next 3 to 5 years. We have to inch our way down until we can inch our way out. So we roll down to eventually get out. In other words, I need this to expire out of the money at some point, or I need to extract so much extrinsic value. I need to capture so much extrinsic value from this particular trade. Like right now, there's $148,000 of extrinsic value. We can get to the point to where we only got to give like 20 or 30,000 of that back, lock in the other 120 or so. Then we can just go ahead and take the trade off. So whenever you're rolling, I'm going to give you all a used car analogy here. Because right now we're down on this particular position collectively, and all of the money sitting over here in the extrinsic, right, on the 160 puts. So whenever you roll a position that you're a little bit underwater on, you're going to have negative equity. It is a lot like trading in a used car with negative equity. So imagine you go to the parking lot, you go to the car lot, you're excited. You see the car, the nice shiny car, right? It's a shiny object syndrome. And I'm using this analogy because if you look at the debt of the American households, their worst debt is always their car. Their car and their credit cards, the two C's, right? Cars, credit cards. That's the worst debt that the American people carry on a daily basis. So you go buy that shiny car. They have something that says 0% interest, no payment for 90 days. You don't even have to pay TTNL. You got a credit score over 650 FICO. Here's the keys to the car. Sign on the dotted line for 60 or 72 months and you're on your way. And you're excited. You're posting pictures, new year, new me. God blessed us with a beautiful car today. And then people that are financially savvy, like myself, were like, what an idiot. Like, what an idiot. Like you're and I've done it too. We've all done it, right? Taking pictures with my Tesla, taking pictures with the motorcycle, with several Mercedes, BMWs, Jaguars, Audis along the way. My wife has a picture when we bought the Porsche. So we all do it. We all get excited when we buy the new shiny object. But then the devil's in the details. When you start looking at the financing and stuff, you're like, man, if I get out of this car within a year or two, I'm going to have so much negative equity when I go to trade this car in and I try to get into another shiny object, another shiny car. So there's another deal coming in. Bring your car, bring your negative equity. Don't worry about it. We're going to make you whole. We're going to roll that negative equity into the other car. So there's going to be a big old residual if you're dealing with leases. There's going to be a big old factory rebate if you're dealing with a new car, but you're going to have to do it in a new car because we need to absorb the loan, the existing loan, the pre-existing loan, in order for you to get into another one. Don't worry about the down payment. Don't worry about the TTNL, tax title license. We're going to roll it all in to another car. How do I know this? Because I used to sell cars in another world. I used to sell Fords in another world. So they bring the F-150 and we put them in, they go to service. We give them a bunch of bad news. We're like, dude, it might just be easier for you to just get into another car. It's a real shady car business. Guys, there's no such thing as a good car deal. There's no such thing as a good car deal. So you think you know the GM over there and he's doing you a solid? No, he's bending you over backwards and you're allowing him to. And the only reason it feels good is because you know him. That's it. But there's no such thing as a good car deal. My conscience wouldn't allow me to sell cars. I was only moving 20 to 30 small time. I was selling like 20 to 30 units per day. Okay, money, making $60,000-$70,000. It wasn't there very long. My buddy Henry got me that job. But you got to sell your soul to the devil if you're going to be a successful car salesman. It's absolutely brutal. But anyway, so staying with the analogy, you go and you trade that shiny object that you got negative equity on, $10,000, call it, and you rolled it into another note. And then now, as soon as you drive off the lot, that car's going to start depreciating. It's a depreciating liability. That is what a car is. It is not an asset. So now you got like $20,000 of negative equity that you're driving around. And then a year and a half goes by, and now there's a new F-150 that you get real excited about. This one's got EcoBoost. OMG. This one's got the cruise control that almost feels like full self-driving, and you just got to have it. Maybe you want to upgrade to like a Raptor or something like that. So you go, you call your guy. You're like, hey, you remember me? And the guy's like, oh, yeah, I remember you. You're a sucker twice. And you do it again. And you keep trading this car that you have negative equity on for another car, and as soon as you drive off that car, you have even more equity. Well, at some point, you're going to have to write out the note. And that's what rolling cash secured puts, short puts, covered calls, short calls, naked puts, whatever terminology you want to utilize. It all functions the same way. Whenever you roll an option with negative equity, at some point, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have to write out the note. You're going to have to write out the terms of the contract so that you can turn that negative equity into a win, into positive equity. Same thing with a car. At some point, if you want to get out from under this crazy ass note that you're in because you have shiny object syndrome, At some point, you're going to have to drive that truck or car for the next 5 or 6 years and write out the note. That way, you have a clean bill of health whenever you go for your next shiny object purchase. And that is what rolling options is when you're rolling from a position of weakness. Whenever you trade in a car, I promise you, you're doing it from a position of weakness unless you put like $20,000 down on said car. But we're talking about the zero down, no payments for 90 days. Don't worry about your TTNL. You're in the hole. This thing is going to lose $5,000, $10,000 of value the minute you take ownership of it. That is, in my opinion, the closest thing to rolling options when you have negative equity. So that is what has happened here with MSTR on this particular trade. You're going to see all of these trades here. I was just trying to find the sweet spot, trying to find the sweet spot, trying to find the sweet spot. And eventually I landed over here. And I was like, okay, I feel better about it now. I can manufacture the win at 140 over here. I could write it out. So that's going to lock in $12,000. That's going to go a long way to getting us back to good. And then 160, I feel like if Bitcoin pumps, I think that this 160 could legitimately be way out of the money. So the idea here is to make money with the puts, and then on a pump, let's say it goes to 175, 180, then I'm going to introduce selling some short calls. Because I'm like, well, if those 160s are going to continue to get challenged, I'm going to go make some money on the short calls. So eventually you're going to see 25 or 50 short calls over here on MSTR. I thought about doing it yesterday and I just lost track of time. So that is something that I'm looking to do. So Bitcoin takes another rung up the ladder, right? Because I feel like it's healthy for it to consolidate today. So Bitcoin's going to consolidate, go slightly down. It stands to reason that MSTR being a proxy play to Bitcoin is going to consolidate and go down. And then we have a big vote coming up here in a week or two as to whether or not MSTRs, the BMNRs of the world, the DATs, the digital asset treasuries, are even going to be allowed to potentially be in these indices, right? That's going to be a big deal too. So that's going to create some volatility. So I feel like there's going to be some opportunities there to sell some naked calls, and I can write the ship that way because at the end of the day, I just look at the total P&L and I'm like, we got work to do. We got work to do. But I see it all right here, right? All the extrinsic value is right there, 148,000. So I'm like, okay, well, this thing would just go up and we write it out. That 148,000 is going to eventually make its way to the net lick. And we could turn this losing position into a winner by writing out the note, provided that it expires out of the money or we close it out for, $10,000, $20,000. PayPal. This is the easy money trade. This is backstopping this entire account right now. So we've essentially got an agreement to buy 30,000 shares of PayPal at 45 days from now, $47,000 of meat on the bone there. And that is not an accident. Why? Because I'm using PayPal to right the wrong that is MSTR in this particular account. And then I've got the easy money play. That's the 142.40 short strangles on Palantir. This is a cash grab. I don't expect any of those sides to be challenged. So there's $32,000 that we're going to capture. I'm hoping to capture at least 70 or 80% of that. And then I'm going to put the strangle on again, do another 60 days, maybe go 130, 230, depending on what's going on. Because we're going to probably have earnings and stuff by this time. So we're going to have a lot of information. And when you're real wide on strangles, and this is a campaign and this isn't a trade, you don't worry as much about binary events. If Palantir goes up, we'll make adjustments. If Palantir goes down, we'll make adjustments because we're really wide. So whenever you're really wide, you dictate to the position. The position doesn't necessarily dictate to you, because I didn't get very greedy and very aggressive trying to collect all of that premium. So that's what's going on with that particular account. Now let's go on to account ending in 90. This is a $375,000 net lick account. So I'm giving you all the dollar amounts of these accounts so that you can relate it to your account, because some of you guys are going to relate to 15 million. Some of y'all are going to relate to $1 million. Some of y'all are going to relate to 50 grand. I'm trying to give it all to y'all. And also showing y'all that, hey, there's only 3 positions in this particular account, and there's plenty of buying power, and I'm looking for a trade. And I think that if SoFi is still down today, let me look on my phone here. If SoFi is still down today, this would be opportune time. What is this right here? Here we go. Let's do it. Sorry, this is Landscaper. Sally, I don't know who Sally is. Oh, I remember. Hold on 1 second, guys. I got to send this out to this poor lady. Give me 1 second, guys. Where the heck is my Calendly? Here we go. Copy link. There you go. Okay, super. All right, let's get on track. So what do we got going on here? We've got BM&U. What do we got with BM&U? We got 10,000 shares at 550. Liking our chances there. 11 our chances there. My goodness, I wish we had 25,000 shares at 550. So we're solid there, and we got the shares for sale at $8. I like it. I like it. We had some puts at 7. I closed them out for about a break even. I just wanted to take some of that risk off the table because I wanted to make room for SoFi because I made this move when I was walking the dogs outside because I saw that SoFi was down, and I was like, I wanted to add SoFi to this particular account, and that's what I meant to do when I got distracted. Is where is SoFi trading at right now? So I'm looking at my yes. SoFi's at 26.70. Oh, thank you, baby Jesus. That is just what the doctor ordered. That is just what the doctor ordered. Okay, so let's find SoFi. So y'all gonna have to bear with me. I'm gonna have to go to the other side. Because when it comes to making trades, I'm just more comfortable on the other side. So bear with me for a second. So that's account ending in 90. And here I have my watch list. So where's SoFi at? There we go. So there's SoFi. So we can clear that. And let's just do a vanilla. I think they're doing earnings on the 30th, right? Something like that. That doesn't scare us at SoFi. Man, 24. Kobe. I like 24 and I like 30. I don't think we even need to do the other side, though. I don't even think we need to do the other side. We'll start off with just a short puts, and then we can add the other side on another bump up. We can start with 50 contracts. I'm going to tick it down 1 just to try to get this one. I don't want this one to get away from us. Let me see what the notional is on that. Bear with me. So we got 2,400 times 50. 120,000. Let me look at the cash situation here. Yeah, we can definitely afford that. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. There we go. Now everything's right in the world. They've got a position here, 50 short puts on SoFi at $24. Absolutely love it. Let me go back to this particular account. I don't think it had SoFi either. Let me see there's plenty of buying power there. Let's look at the cash. Plenty of cash. This thing needs a little SoFi in its life. So let's do the same trade. 24 days out. Let's run a little Kobe, not too crazy. We'll go 50 contracts. Little 50 contracts. Let's see if we can get 75 this time. There we go. I love it. We could have probably gotten another $1, but we're not going to step over dollars to pick up dimes. I think we're going to be okay. Awesome. So back on track over here on 90. So now I feel better about this account already. We got the 10,000 shares. We got the shares for sale at 8. Let me go to this account. I'm going to jump around a little bit. Sorry, because when I'm looking for a trade and I found a trade, right? So let me jump real quick because this one doesn't have SoFi either, and I would love for it to have SoFi at these levels. Let me make sure we can afford it. I'd say so. Yeah, this course 30. Man, this is great. Okay, super. So this one can afford a little bit more. It's a bigger account, right? This is a $900,000 net lick. So where's SoFi? Here she is. There's SoFi trade. We're going to go right here. Same 24. But instead, we're going to go 100 contracts over here because we can afford it. And we're going to try to get it at 74. Hopefully we can get that. Hopefully we can get that filled. Okay. Is there another one? Oh, there we go. Let me make sure. Did it fill? Yeah, awesome. Bear with me, guys. I got to stop everything as far as that goes because I have an obligation over here. So I see an opportunity, I got to pounce. I see an opportunity, I got to pounce. Beautiful thing is when you're selling puts and calls on the same stocks over and over, everything becomes a lot faster. You don't have to sit there and analyze the charts and all that stuff. Been in this company since it was IPOE, right? Whenever it was a blank check company. So I know that $24, I've already done all my homework. $24, give me those damn shares. You know what I mean? Like, please give me those shares. So it's just the game changes whenever you're selling puts and calls on the same stocks over and over again. The speed changes because you don't have to keep researching the research. You know what I mean? So let me look at this particular account as well. It needs a little SoFi in it also. I don't want to lose this trade, guys. I don't want to lose this trade. So we're going to go for, and you just keep getting less and less on the premiums because it must be going up. This is a bigger account too. I think it can definitely afford 100. Yeah, 41% buying power. I like it. Let's see if we can get that filled. This one already has SoFi. Big accounts got plenty of SoFi. The other thing I wanted to do on this account here was add. Yes. What I wanted to do on this account is I wanted to add 1,000 more contracts. Bear with me. There's over here, 1,000 contracts. It won't. It goes in increments. I wonder why that is. I'm going to try to get it filled right in the middle. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that. Oh, hello, Yahtzee. Love it. Okay, back on track. So we're going to go back over here to the accounts. Sorry about that. I got a little sidetracked there. Anyway, let's get back into it. As like I said, I'm looking for a trade. So every trade's live, and I'll walk y'all through those trades here in a little bit as I get through the accounts. But when I see an opportunity, I got to pounce. And since it's multiple accounts, I got to do it over and over and over again. And that's what sucks because it's multiple accounts. So it's like, I get $74, $75, 71, 72, whatever it is. And that's just the nature of the beast, right? That's the nature of the beast. Anyway, make sure we're on account ending in 90. BMNU, we did that. SoFi, I feel freaking awesome on that trade. I just feel absolutely awesome. It's awesome to bring in. It's not much, it's $3,000. It's 3,500, whatever it is, 3,700. It's nothing to sneeze at, but it's also not a game changer for this size of an account. But it's just now I have another menu item. I have another menu item, and it's more than a trade. It's a campaign. I want it back on the books because SoFi's been good to us, I believe. Yeah, 23,000 on this one. I feel like we can make $100,000 on SoFi. We just gotta position ourselves to do so. And I like the sizing. I didn't go crazy. Why? Because it's at a strike where I legit want to take ownership. See, whenever I'm cash grabbing, guys, let me clarify that. My cash grabs, the sizing's bigger because I'm like, well, I'm gonna go freaking try to steal the money from the bank. Cash grabbing, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. I'm the guy that goes in the vault. I'm not going to the cash register. I'm not going to the cashier. How much money could they have in there? I'm going for the vault. So it's a bigger position. It either works out or it doesn't. If it works out, cool. I made a lot of money. If it doesn't, I lose some money. And I'm good with that risk. So I have no intention of assignment anyway. So I'm not as cognizant of the notional value. Whenever I'm not bluffing and I'm selling the put the way that I am over here, and I'm okay with the assignment possibilities, probabilities, then I have to size it accordingly based on the cash available in the account because I want to take ownership of those shares. It's a different mindset, guys. It's a different mindset. PayPal, easy money trade over here, and then strategies right there. 6 months down the road, 5 months down the road, whatever that is, at 160. I feel good about this account all the way around. All right, account ending in 01. This is, like I said, a $900,000 account. Making sure my days expiration is all lined up. It is strategy. We got $7,900 of extrinsic value there at 140. We chilling. BMU, we got 100 puts at 6 and 100 puts at 8. Short puts at 8. So it's an obligation to buy 10,000 shares at $6. We got an obligation to buy another 10,000 shares at $8. Those are in the money. So that's an $80,000 obligation right there. So since I'm staring down the barrel of assignment, I'm like, what am I going to do about it? So I'm like, okay, let's deploy the 25, 25, 50 strategy. So this is 25% of the amount that we would like to deploy to the amount of shares that we would like to own. 10,000 shares of BMU. And I'm like, well, if I like them at 8, I should be loving them at 6. So there's another 10,000 shares. And if it dips to 4, then we try to go get 20,000 shares over there at $4. So I'm showing y'all live and in color what the mindset is with the 25, 25, 50 strategy. This is 25. This is 25 at $4. It would be 50. So I'm like, okay, get 10,000 shares. I get 10,000 shares, and I get 20,000 shares. If the market gives me $4 or $5. If not, well, then we'll just work with this and we'll figure out how to manufacture the win. And then this position should already have done okay for us. Yeah, we've made a little bit of money on this one. So it's been a profitable campaign already. So it doesn't really scare me to potentially be underwater on some shares here. Down $1. It's not that big of a deal, man. Just take assignment, sell covered calls at $8. You probably collect $1 and you're right there. So again, some of y'all act like y'all come down with an STD, a sexually transmitted disease. Let's just be realistic here. It's just if you're dealing with something that you're comfortable with, it's not that big of a deal. And then we got the short puts on SoFi at 24, picked up $7,000. I like, or 7,400. I like it. I feel really, really good about it. It doesn't, the one thing I didn't show y'all is the capital requirement because it was just happening so quickly. So whenever we go live again, we're going to see what the capital requirement was on those particular trades. PayPal is the easy money trade, kind of backstopping the account. Got $45,000 of extrinsic value there. PayPal's just got to chill out over $55, which I think it will over the next 45 days. I feel like it's easy money. And then Palantir is our sweet spot trade, 140 and 240. That's the sweet spot. It's got to stay in between those. It's comfortably in between the two goalposts there. And we got $32,000, and we want to keep doing this over and over and over again. So let me do some live Q&A. We'll stop right there for now, and then we'll get back on the portfolio. And let me just make sure that I address some of y'all's questions. I appreciate the 700 people that have seen the link on X and the 66 people rocking with me live. I know that our boy Amit's on there on the live right now as well. Maybe go check on his channel here in a little bit. We'll do it collectively as a group, see what they're talking about over there. Where are we at here? So we did this one. We did this one. What's going on, Brian? It's really good stuff, not just from TJ. Great day to sell puts on. Right on. Happy New Year. For anyone you'd be interested in, Alab is paying very nice premiums for puts closing just before their earnings, down almost 10% on the day. Wow, awesome. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Guys, let's do that as well. That's awesome, Will. Let's do this as well. Y'all have some trade ideas, put them in the chat. Put them in the chat. Let's treat this like the WhatsApp group, right? Because that's what we do, trade ideas all day over there on the WhatsApp group. Now let me give y'all a little heads up about our community. We are not the community that sits here and tells you that your stock sucks. We're not the community that's going to tell you that your girlfriend's ugly. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Nobody wants to hear that shit. If you're in a stock, you believe in it. It's important that you believe in it because it's a menu item in your hamburger stand, not mine. We're going to help you win. We're going to analyze the trade and we'll help you. That's the cool thing about our community is we're not here to shit on you. We're here to help you out. And we're just always positive vibes on the channel, guys. If not, we got a rent squad. They'll get after you and they'll get you out of here. We just don't tolerate that nonsense. So appreciate the trade idea. Will, let's keep them going. If y'all have anything out there that you think's a good trade idea, present it to everyone and we can all analyze it real quickly, and maybe it's something that we could add, because there's 10,000 stocks to choose from. There's 10,000 stocks to choose from, guys. It's hard to know everything about all of them. Even I think Grok gets a little confused after a while. They're like, "Oh, you're maxed out on the crap. You can ask me today." What do you do with the naked calls that are in the money? You got to manage them. The easiest thing to do is to buy the shares if you have the money. Now, if you're selling naked calls and you cannot afford to take ownership of those shares, and you got to either book the loss or you got to keep rolling and rolling and rolling. But be careful, or you can also turn it into a call debit spread or a call credit spread, whichever. You basically buy a leap. You buy a call on top of the short call, and you can kind of minimize the damage, turn it into a defined risk strategy. So there's things that you can do, right? So my suggestion is don't sell naked calls if you can't afford to cover. Be careful. And that's what I've done here over the last 6 months is I've sized down. I was playing a little too big. Got a little bit too big for my britches, if you will. Now I've sized down, and I'm probably still a lot bigger than like Tom Sosnoff. No way he's approving my portfolio. And that's okay. He can do him. I'm doing me. You know what I mean? I'm very comfortable in my skin. I'm very comfortable in my skin doing what I do. I don't do it exactly the tasty trade way, trade small, trade often, and all that stuff. I'm like, no, I got some winners. I'm going to go heavy because I can manage the trade. I just trust in my ability to manage the trade. So if you trust in your ability to manage the trade, you're going to be okay. But at the same time, you got to be willing to take the loss. Don't let things get out of hand. Appreciate you, Kenneth. SoFi down. That's awesome. That is just absolutely awesome. Opportune time to say the least. Late, but great to be here. Thanks for your time. You're welcome, Aaron. You're welcome. Hey, TJ, why did you choose the 30th of January instead February the 6th after earnings? Real good question. I think earnings are on the 30th or not. I'm not even sure. I just wanted to log something for this month. And again, it's the initial trade. So whenever you see me sell an option on this channel, I want to encourage y'all to not have stop sign to stop sign vision. In other words, expiration date to expiration date. This is just the start of the campaign. It's not a one and done. So it could be January the 30th. It could be February the 6th. It's all arbitrary at the end of the day for me because I don't have to be right now, if that makes sense. B, I kind of want the shares. So it's like, it doesn't matter. Earnings are good, bad, indifferent. It doesn't matter to me. I think that SoFi is a pretty damn good deal at $24. So I want to be in this trade for a week or two. And then I'll probably roll it out 40, 50, 60 days at that point, and maybe keep it at 24. Or if the market's showing weakness, I'm like, okay, well, maybe I don't have to get too hasty. Maybe maybe SoFi's going to tank to like 21 or 22. Let me buy these shares at 23. So again, it's a campaign. It's a campaign. So that's why, again, whenever you're dealing with the same stocks over and over again, you don't have to like figure out this whole trade from scratch. It's like I've done that trade 1,000 times already on SoFi, if that makes sense. It expedites everything. That's why I'm just a real big fan of you continue to go to the water well until there's no more water. Like, I mean, it's just you already dug the hole. It's legit. You already had it tested. Everything's legit. You've already done your homework. You studied the M's, the moat, the management, the money, the market, the methodology. And you're like, I just want to make as much money as I can on SoFi. And all I was looking for is a nice red day after yesterday, right? I was like, okay, the opportunity's there. Boom. The opportunity's there, and I bounced. And it is what it is. Where else are we going here? Holding through earnings is dangerous on a trade. Again, this is a campaign. I own 257,000 shares of SoFi. I've held through, I don't know, 14 or 15, about 13, 14 earnings. What are you going to do? Am I going to sell all the shares all the time before earnings? Right? Again, it's like, I'm going to challenge y'all on y'all's mentality. When there's high conviction and you have a 401k, you have an IRA, you've held through a bunch of Fed reports, a bunch of Fed slop, you've held through a bunch of narratives in the market, and you just keep putting your $50, $100, $200, $500 a month, right, on the 1st and 15th, whatever your situation is. And you don't think about all that stuff. Then why all of a sudden, whenever you're selling an option, it's oh my God, earnings, oh my God, oh this. I get it. Whenever you're cash grabbing and it's just a trade, stop sign to stop sign, expiration date to expiration date. But this is a campaign. Like SoFi is different for me because of the level of conviction. And I'm not going to come down with the Stocksley transmitted disease. Like that will be a good thing for me. I'm like, you're telling me we're going to own SoFi at 24? I think it's going to be at like 40, 45 by the end of the year. Where do I sign up? That's where you sign up right there. You saw it put. TJ likes at 30 days to also SoFi historically runs up pre-earnings and then dumps historically. Have you made a video about portfolio monitoring, how you manage it? I feel like I've talked about it quite a bit. I haven't done one specifically, I don't think, but that is definitely something that is a good idea. Duly noted. I appreciate the idea. I like that. Bought into, excuse me, bought into BMU at 696. I think you're going to be okay. He's signing off soon, he said. Is that Amit? What are we talking about here? New here, but have loved TJ Strats. I think his strategies truly the GOAT. Appreciate you. Amit, I meant. Right on. Appreciate that. Thoughts on Netflix? I heard a gentleman talk about it. I want to say his name's Parkev. He's got all the licenses. He's always touting it too. Like, I got these licenses. I'm like, okay, cool. He's got a cool little spreadsheet I wouldn't mind getting a hold of. He's like, it's a proprietary spreadsheet. So I may subscribe to or become a member just to get the spreadsheet. I like the way you input the numbers and it spits out an extrinsic value. I've got like 3 or 4 of those tools that I utilize. I feel like you can't have too many of those tools in your arsenal. But he talked about Netflix. In fact, let's see if I could find it. So if I go over here, I'm going to try to pull up YouTube. Let's give him a shout out here because I do watch his channel every once in a while. I think it's called Parkev Stocks, maybe. I'm trying to find him in the background here. There we go. So when I do, so I'm going to go ahead and go here. And then if I click over here, I'm just looking in the background. I want to see if it shows up, if it's that easy to to share the screen like it is, like I think it should be. There it is. So this dude right here, Parkev Tate Vozian, CFA. Yeah, a lot of subscribers too. Holy cow, man. 622,000. Real cool. Seems like a humble dude. He is always touting the fact that he has all these stupid licenses. And I'm like, I got a license to print money. So here we go. So right here, 24 minutes. And he talks about Netflix and how the Warner Brothers acquisition just broke my Netflix valuation model. And I watched like a minute of it and then I got distracted. So I haven't watched it, but this guy does a pretty good job of breaking down valuations. And this is his little spreadsheet right here. That's his little spreadsheet right there. He calls it proprietary. I don't know how you get your hands on it. I don't know if you have to become a member or something like that. Truly, I don't know. But I subscribe to his channel. I've watched, I don't know, probably 15 of his videos over the last year or two. And he's pretty good, a little bit monotone. There's not a lot of excitement to him, but he comes with the facts. And the only reason that he came to mind is because I remember seeing that Netflix and I started watching it. It just, I got sidetracked. So anyway, back on track here. I'll try to get to some of y'all's questions here. I got to make sure to go through the portfolios though. So back on track. What I need to do though here is yeah, there we go. Okay. So which one did we end up on? 01. I think we did 01. I think we're good here. Solid there. Solid here. I feel amazing about this particular play. PayPal, love it. Palantir, love it. Okay, awesome. Keeping it going. Account ending in 33. This account is 780,000-ish or so. 770. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions. So let's talk about them. Let me put my days to expiration in chronological order. There we go. So we got BMNU. We got 10,000 shares. We had more puts at 7. I closed those out for a very small loss of about $400 or $500. Just wanted to make room for this SoFi play. So that's why I chose to do that. And I got the shares for sale at least 7,500 of the 10,000 shares for sale at $9 10 days from now. SoFi, we got the 24 puts. We just did those a little while ago. And then we got, and you'll see the capital requirement there. It's showing up now, 17,000. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that just crazy? That's crazy. That's like $240,000 notional, right? Something like that. 2,400 times 100. Yeah, that's crazy. PayPal, again, kind of backstopping the portfolio. Y'all are going to see a trend here. I'm using this PayPal short put as my easy money trade in most of the accounts so that I can ring the cash register because I'm playing with a lot higher risk stuff like BMNU, BMNR, MSTR. I'm like, okay, I need a little PayPal in there to kind of balance things out. MSTR, 130 puts, 75 of those. And then in the distance, 25 short puts at 160. I feel really good about those. And then PayPal, this has just been an absolute banger in this particular portfolio. Look at the order chain. 80 grand on Palantir, never owned a share. 140 and 240. Sweet spot trade. Easy money. Keeping it going. Account ending in 20. This account's 1.1 million, 5 positions. MSTR 140. We got $19,000 of extrinsic value. We're hanging tough. We're not going to get squeezed out of that particular position. Not really in a position to take ownership of $1.4 million worth of MSTR. but I am in a position to hang in this trade long enough. There's no risk of early assignment right now. We're still comfortably out of the money. And I want to try to stay in this trade through the first part of next week. And then I'll kick the can down the road another 30 or 45 days and roll from 140 to 135 or 130. And let's keep dancing and let's keep making money with MSTR. PayPal, same type of situation, just cash grabbing on PayPal. And we're running a strangle here on SoFi. We've got 200 short puts at $26 45 days from now against 200 short calls at 38. So our sweet spot is 26 to 38. Feel really, really good about that. And then we got the same Palantir trade going on. And then we also have an in-phase backstop trade that is just printing. We got an agreement to buy 20,000 shares of in-phase down the road at $25. Feel really, really good about everything in this portfolio. And y'all will notice something. 0 shares owned in this portfolio, 1.1 million bucks. 0 shares owned. And the portfolio is making money. Keep that in mind, guys. There's just so many different ways to skin the cat. So, you don't have to just own a bunch of shares. You don't have to just own a bunch of leaps. You can methodically work your way there. We've already done the small account. Now let's look at Big Papa. What do we got going on here? Let me get my days to expiration right. MSTR, we're chilling. We got the strangle going, 150, 180. I love it. $17,000, almost $18,000 in data coming off the books. And we're hanging tough. We are hanging tough on that particular trade. I'll definitely look to roll that out 45, 60 days, but I want to try to stay in it through the end of the week at least. I feel good about it. And then in the distance, we got the 170s. This is definitely the problematic area in the portfolio. This is a problem, but there's still so much extrinsic value there. The risk of early assignment is pretty minuscule. So I'm going to try to get to the 90-day mark, and then I'm going to roll it out again another 5 or 6 months and try to go from 170 to 160 and start inching my way out and down until I can exit completely, because we're in the hole on strategy, right? $970,000. So again, we've traded in a car with negative equity, and you can see where the extrinsic value is. So that's where that hole is. That's where that negative equity is. So eventually I'm going to have to roll this down, hopefully 160, 150, and then eventually strategy will bounce and stay there. Or maybe strategy just catches a bid, Bitcoin goes to all-time highs again, and we're no longer in that 4-year cycle, all that stuff, and then I just don't have to do anything and just kind of wait it out, and boom, everything's good. But we'll see. This is a campaign, so I don't have to be right here. I prefer to be right here. That way I'm just done with it, and I regroup, made almost $1 million, and then figure out how big I want this particular position to be, because I'm going to keep doing it for the next 3 to 5 years. In a perfect world, strategy just shoots up and I don't have to mess with it no more, right, at these levels. But if it doesn't, well, I will just keep rolling until I can manufacture the win. BMNU, we've got the 150,000 shares at $6.26, and we've got an agreement to buy 100,000 more shares at $8. So that part's problematic. But fortunately, yesterday I put the shares for sale at $9. So brought in a little bit of money through the door, like 29 grand or so. And I'm happy that we did that. Same thing on BMNR. Have the 100,000 shares at 44. So down $1.2 million or so on those particular shares. But we did put the shares for sale yesterday, and we brought in like 45 grand. And it's feeling pretty fortunate that we did. And then we've got the leaps that are just getting absolutely annihilated. SoFi, we've just got the backstop trades, 2,000 of those. But then I'm also running shorter dated naked calls over here. So at 35 strike January the 30th. So I think subconsciously that's why I picked January the 30th for everything, because I knew that I had this January 30th expiring, and I like everything expiring at the same time. It's just like the OCD that I have in me, I think. So I sold these yesterday, guys, and I'm already up 24 grand. It's kind of crazy. It's $18,000. It's like, there's a part of you that's like, oh man, let me just lock in the win. But I'm like, is SoFi going to prove to me that it can get to $35? You know what I mean? So I'm like, that's $18,000 there. I'm in no hurry to get that money back. Palantir sweet spot trade 140 to 40. I mean, what can I tell y'all, guys? This thing's just going to print money. I feel like it's just going to keep printing and printing and printing money. I'm hoping that I can keep this trade on for the next 3 to 5 years, nice and wide like that. Hopefully, in the next round, it'll be like 130 or 120 and 240, because I feel like the risk is definitely to the downside versus the upside here on Palantir. Apple 220 and 360. I don't even look at this particular position. I feel pretty good with Apple at 220. But I would, this is again down the road. This is 7-8 months, right? So I don't have to worry about it right now. But I wouldn't take ownership at 220. I'd more like 200 is where I would be comfortable with Apple as far as valuation goes. And at 360, what are we even talking about? Apple not going to go to 360. Google 220 and 500. This is just a sleep easy money trade right here. And you have to look at it. PayPal, big old backstop trade, 2,000 contracts at 50, $830,000 of meat on the bone. I expect that we could collect every last penny, capture every last penny there. In phase 25 strike. This feels like an absolute gift from above. Feel real good about it. And then ASST is our moonshot play. We got 250,000 shares at 137. And then we've got the leaps, 5,000 of those at 250. So that's what's going on with all of it. So definitely a little bit of a red day, a little bit of bleeding. And I think that's healthy. I think that is healthy. I'm happy to see a little bit of a consolidation today. Tomorrow, hopefully we start inching up again. So that is what's going on with the portfolios in a nutshell. I don't see any other trades that I'm looking to take on right now. I feel happy with our bag. What else do we got going on? COS and Nebius, man. Everybody's talking about Nebius and Zeta right now. They're just not in the portfolio. So I have this thing right now where I'm not looking to bring anything in to the portfolios because I have work to do with strategy. I have work to do with BM&R. I got to bring Amazon back into the fold. Potentially NVIDIA back in the fold. Tesla back in the fold. Riot back in the fold. So I still got stuff to do. I still have stuff to do. I ain't in the market for a new car. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to write out the notes on the cars that I already have in the garage, if that makes sense. Have you looked into Zeta? They say it's the next Palantir. Lots of buzz around it. Yeah, man. I have heard about it. I've not looked into it. And I don't want to look into it right now because I feel like we can legit make $10 million this year with what we have. And I don't want to add any more stress. I don't want to add any more work. I really want to try to work on my golf game this year. I want to continue to work on my fitness and all of those things. So my hamburger stand is, we're good. We're good. I'm just not in a position where I have to look on another, I have to look for another shiny object. I'm reading here, Tesla wheels flying off today, premiums large, 30 before earnings. What do you expect from MSTR next week? Will they be removed from the MSCI indices? And how are you protecting those positions against this? I am prepared to roll everything out another 6 months if I have to. If we get some bad news, I have considered buying some protective puts as well. Not there yet because I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that just playing the politics, I think that Saylor's too chummy with Donald Trump. I think the administration is way too bullish on crypto. I think the family of the Trumps, they have a lot of personal money in crypto. Uh, they understand the game. They understand how this digital asset treasury works. I think that America is about to become the biggest hodlers of Bitcoin, right? There's that 600,000 over there in Venezuela who's going to take ownership of that Bitcoin. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that points me into feeling like crypto going to be okay. Crypto's here to stay. You have people like Jamie Dimon that are like, okay, this is a little bit past the experimental phase. Wall Street's coming on the blockchain. People are starting to sing a different tune if you listen closely. Got back into SoFi right on. Zeta is solid up 7. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Who's covering Zeta? I want to say Sam Solid is covering Zeta. I'm sure Amit's probably talking about Zeta. Um, have I set a SoFi exit price? Really good question. I'm going to evaluate everything at $100. $100. That's when I'm going to evaluate everything. Because my 401k would have $25 million. That would be pretty fucking awesome. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But at $100, I'm definitely going to evaluate everything and see, is SoFi just going to be sideways at this point? What are the tax ramifications? I got to look at all of it. But that's what I put in my journal. I'm going to build out this position. I'm rocking with Anthony Noto. I believe in SoFi. I believe that banking is going to all be done on an app. I feel like brick and mortar is dying day by day. That was all the stuff that I was thinking when I started building that position, and I put my entire life savings into it at the time. So I have no reason to change now. I have no reason to change now, and I feel good about it. I sold some SoFi puts at 24. When you were on Robinhood, were you using any of their margin? No. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes. I use their margin to sell puts, but very rarely have I ever owned any shares on margin. I've done it a couple of times on my son's account, but I don't promote that. I just feel like that is just a way to potentially blow up your account. So just be careful. You're welcome. Dan Galibon went out. TJ, thanks for these lives. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm hoping that I could help you guys in some small way. All right, TJ, can you teach me? Log into class, man. We're here. What's going on? BMNR is flipping joke. Tom Lee scammed us. Who's the most transparent Wheeler on YouTube? I think that would be me by a long shot. I don't even think it's close. Why is SoFi down 10%? I don't know. Maybe because it was up 10% yesterday. I don't know. I don't follow that stuff that closely, guys. This isn't Amit's channel. I'm not going to put the freaking ticker up there and talk 20 minutes about the price action. Like that's Amit's gift. He knows how to create this must-see TV drama. He's an entertainer. It's what he does, right? That's not what I do. I figure out how to sell puts, calls, roll when it makes dollars and cents by leaps. That's what I do. So I don't sit there and hypnotize the stock market on a daily basis and live and die with every movement of the stock. Like, I mean, it's not that serious. Like 5 years from now, are we going to care? Like 5 years from now, are we going to care? If you don't blow up your account today, you're probably not going to think about this day 5 years from now. So that's always my mindset, is like 5 years from now, am I going to give a shit? The answer is probably not. SoFi Technology competes stock offering. That's why total shares of the offering reached 57 million. Holy moly. Shares are priced at $27.50. You got no. I don't have any silver. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. What else do we got going on here? Sending that mostly to TJ. Where are we at here? So if I got at least 3 downgrades, including from Goldman Sachs, makes it a great opportunity to sell puts. Appreciate that, options doctor. Appreciate that. I don't follow the news that closely, guys. Again, it's going to take a lot for an investment thesis to get challenged for me, like on SoFi. So like there's a downgrade or something. I'm like, okay, cool. So creates an opportunity to sell puts. If there's an upgrade, does that mean that I'm going to just go buy a bunch of lottery leaps? No. Like what is it? What is an analyst anyway? What do they do? They get paid to talk about the stock, right? Show me your trade. Show me your trade, and I'll know what you believe. So it's like how much skin in the game do these analysts have? I just do not put a lot of stock in what an analyst has to say one way or another. I just don't. I look at what the institutions are doing. Are the institutions buying SoFi or are they selling SoFi? Do we have net inflows or net outflows on institutions? Because those people know the game. And the analyst just gets paid to talk about it. That's it. That's what they get paid to do. But do they have any skin in the game? Do they have any actual skin in the game? And then who pays the analyst? Who controls the narrative? Is it the analyst's opinion or is it what Goldman Sachs is telling them to say? Right? Because they got a job. Somebody's signing their paycheck. So I'm like, I've always been very, very leery of analysts because it's just like a narrative that they're trying to shove down your throat. So you have to be able to make your own decisions. And that's why I have coined this phrase, you can't borrow conviction. And make no mistake about it, it's my quote. A lot of people use it now, but it was my quote because I have known that from day one in the stock market. That we're all going to push our buttons and we're all going to live with those results. And you can't borrow conviction. You just can't. You can't. Somebody that studied Palantir, like an Amit and the folks on that channel on Palantir Weekly and all that stuff, it stands to reason that they're going to have more conviction than the average person when it comes to Palantir because it's not a black box to them, right? Like they broke it open. They accessed the CEO. They accessed a lot of the higher ups, the brass tacks in Palantir. So they have a higher level of conviction than your average investor in Palantir. They're like a Palantir army. It's freaking awesome. I have invested hours and hours and hours watching like Palantir Weekly, watching a bunch of interviews of Alex Karp, the Lonsdale character, and this other dude that I can't pronounce his name. I believes an Indian dude, to try to like understand it so that I could have like some conviction. And it helped me to make a shitload of money with it. But it's like I put in the work, but it's like somebody, Dan Ives or somebody says something about it. I don't know if they're even legally able to have positions on these companies. So I take what these analysts say with a grain of salt, if that makes sense. Somebody says I hate on Amit. I don't hate on Amit. Amit's my buddy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, don't come on the channel and try to create narratives that aren't true, guys. Like, that's not what we do here. That's not what we do here. Keeping it going. Where are we at here? Here we go. Kenneth Brown. How do I set up a private call with you now that I've upped my subscription? I have a Calendly link. If you go to the posts, there should be some subscription only posts. And my contact info is there, Kenneth, or just send me an email. Send me an email to tjthewilldeal@gmail.com and be like, hey, it's Kenneth Brown from the chat, and I'll send you the info. Any thoughts on the Supreme Court tariff ruling set for Friday? I honestly haven't followed it as much. I think I was on Sergio's channel for like 5 or 10 minutes yesterday, and I feel like he mentioned it a little bit, but I was in the middle of a little workout routine, so I wasn't like really engaged. I just kind of had him on as background noise, so I can't really speak on it. I'm sure it's all going to work out. We're all going to make adjustments, guys. If things go haywire, we're going to adjust. That's the beautiful thing about human beings is they're very, very adaptable creatures. I'm down on my SoFi January 2027 leaps around 20%. Would you run a poor man covered call on the next leg up? I would definitely wait for earnings. I think you're about to have the answers to the test, man. So I wouldn't get hasty, Jay. Again, not financial advice, just telling you what I would do is we're less than a month away from earnings. I think that they're going to be really, 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 really good earnings. This is the first time in a long time that SoFi has a lot of tailwinds, right? We got the rate cuts, the student loans is blowing and going. We have a lot of good stuff going on for SoFi. We have this, this latest dilutive, share offering, if you will, and make no mistake about it, I think it was dilutive. So I I think that a lot of that stuff is going to be behind us, and then now it's going to be like onward and upward, and know do we trust all that stuff. So I'd wait. I'd wait for not just a leg up, a massive leg up, and let SoFi cook a little bit, man. Let SoFi cook a little bit, and then go out there and sell your calls and bring some of that money through the door. That way you can reimburse yourself for the money that you're out on the leaps. But I think those leaps are going to be fine. I think those leaps are going to be fine, in my opinion. Vishnup 2179 is saying today both Goldman Sachs and B of A, Bank of America, lowered their targets in a coordinated attack. Goldman Sachs cut its target from 27 to 24, while Bank of America maintained its underperform rating with a 2050 target. That's fair. I didn't see any downgrades lately, not this lately. Only options I buy are the occasional leap. Selling options like me in the house at the. I agree. Sometimes there is an opportunity there where it just makes a lot of sense to buy the leap, right? It really, really does. Or the other times that I do buy the leaps is I buy the leaps as a license to be able to sell aggressive covered calls on the underlying. So I have shares of BM&R, but I also got leaps. So I'm like, well, I could sell some covered calls pretty aggressive because if things were to get out of hand, roll a couple of times, let the shares get called away, and the leaps are going to print anyway. So it's like I bought my participation trophy to the upside, if that makes sense. Where are we at here? Here we go. Hey, TJ, if you lost conviction in a stock and don't want to sell for a loss, how do you manage this? So long dated in the money calls, that is definitely one option. Or you just you have to devise a campaign. I call it a rescue mission. You have to devise a campaign to where you can generate enough credits to offset the debits and eventually figure out how to break even. But the times that I've done that, you also have to take into account your tax implications and stuff, right? So that's one thing that I do. Another thing that I do is if there's somewhere else that I absolutely want to put that money in, I just feel like that stock's going to go make me the money that I'm losing on this other stock. And I'll just feel better because my capital is allocated elsewhere. Then you just bite the bullet and you just transition over. So you see, the stock that you wrote down doesn't necessarily have to be the stock that you write back up. But it takes a while to get comfortable booking a loss. Like there's like an ego and stuff that you have to deal with. I don't have a big ego in the stock market. I'm wrong a lot. So how do I know that? Because I've sold so many puts and calls that go in the money. Technically, you're wrong when you do that, right? So I've gotten very, very comfortable with being wrong. I'm just trying to like not have 7-figure wrongs like I had last year, right? Because I was wrong 7 figures twice, and I'm babysitting 2 other 7-figure losses that I'm manufacturing the win on because the thesis isn't broken. So I'm I'm managing that accordingly. The 7-figure losses on Apple and Google, no conviction lost or anything like that. That was tax harvesting. That was just strategic. But I could have kept managing and managing those and kept them on the books. But I wanted to book the loss because it really helped with the taxes. And then now I just put the trades back on. Hope that helps you guys out. I'm teaching everyone on this beautiful day. It is a nice day out there. You look good, man. How much did you lose? Are we talking about weight? About 30 last year. I'm trying to lose another 20, 25 this year. And then hopefully I could just like maintain that. That puts me at 180, 185. And I feel like that's going to be the weight that I need to be walking around the rest of my life. I don't think the rulings this Friday, they are just set to issue opinions right on. How many? 1,000. 1,000. Agreed. I'm afraid the shares might get called away. I buy some leaps as a little hedge in case. Yeah, for sure. I'm about to book a loss on CLVT. I'm not familiar with that particular. Yeah, I mean, it had some strangles that went against me, and instead of rolling and rolling and rolling, I was just like, let me just book the loss, and then I'll put the strangles back on. So I just did the 30-day thing. I think I waited like 32 or 33 days just to be like really sure. And then I'm like, okay, in the next couple, 2 or 3 years, I will go get that money back. And those stocks are going to be in the portfolio for the next 10 years. So I'm not that stressed out about it. I definitely get the impression that Chief is new to the channel because he's asking a lot of questions that you guys know the answers to. I don't see anything else. I don't see anything else. Let me just do a once over here. Yeah, I don't see anything else. I'm looking at the portfolio in the background. I don't see anything else that I would be inclined to make any moves on, guys. So I think we're good. I think we're good. I'm going to call it a day there. I've got to go meet with my uncle because I see Enphase running and he's got 10,000 shares. So I need to go meet with him so I can walk him through selling some covered calls on our beloved Enphase. I got to run. I will catch you guys on the next live. Actually, before I run, I just remembered the 1 minute with God thing. So let me see if I can turn these meta glasses on. Let me see if I can turn these on and knock this out. I don't know how to work this thing though. I gotta wait till it tells me how much battery life I have or something. There we go. Battery 79%. All right, so let me knock this out. I've been usually doing this at night. So I have this little book that I picked up. It's called 1 Minute with God. And it's just like a 1 minute, a daily devotional. And I usually do it in the evening when I remember. But I think that I'm going to start doing it early because I feel like it kind of like gets your mind right and stuff. Because I really want to like work on the amount of like F-bombs and stuff that I use on a daily basis. Eventually, I just don't want it to be part of my vernacular. That was like something I've been working on since I turned 50. I think I just watched like too much Gary Vee. He's had like a negative influence on my life as far as cursing, but I like his mindset. But he curses a lot. He's like from New York, right? So the New Jersey area. So anyway, I think we're January the 6th. So let me read this real quick. Let me put my record on because I'll share this on Twitter as well. All right, here we go. It's on abilities. God gives every person special abilities and spiritual gifts that he intends for them to develop and use. As you identify these abilities and gifts in yourself, you have 3 choices. First, you can ignore them. This will leave you unfulfilled and disconnected from God's plan for you. Second, you can use them to advance your own goals and agenda because you will be naturally good in certain areas. Third, you could put them to their intended use and maximize God's purpose for you. As you read and obey God's word, you will begin to understand your special abilities and spiritual gifts. Using those abilities and gifts to serve God will help you discover your distinctive role among God's people and give you deep satisfaction. God's response is God gave these four young men an unusual aptitude for learning the literature and science at the time. Daniel 1 and 17. My life is worth nothing unless I use it for doing the work assigned me by the Lord Jesus. That's Acts 20 and 24. And God's promises, there are different ways God works in our lives, but it is the same God who does the work through all of us. A spiritual gift is given to each of us as a means of helping the entire church. 1 Corinthians 12, 6 and 7. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. You know, like in the book, one of my favorite quotes, and I put it in the book, is your life is a gift from God, and what you do with that life is your gift to God. So we only get one life, man. We only get one shot around this thing, right? I don't believe in the reincarnation and any of that stuff. So this is it, So I feel like we got to make the most of it. And that's why I'm very, very thankful for selling options, that I finally found my thing later on in life. But I finally found my thing, because a lot of people go through life and they don't find their thing. They have a dead end job they don't particularly like, but they have it because it has to they have to put food on their table and all that stuff. But I'm just very, very fortunate and blessed that I found my thing. And I'm able to do that thing and focus on things that are like really important. So anyway, it's my hope for you guys that you find your thing, whether it's selling options, just professionally, like that you find your thing. And on a personal and spiritual level, it is my hope that you guys find your significant other. Like choosing your spouse is one of the most, if not the most important decision that you'll ever make. I would say it's at least the second most important decision, because I think the most important decision you ever make is to choose to give your life to Christ, right? Like you have to accept that you can't do it alone. And that's the thing. Like I fought that notion for a very long time. I was like, I think I could do it alone. But you can't. You're gonna fall short of the glory of God, man. I promise you. Anyway, I gotta get rocking and rolling. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. TJ the Wheel Deal signing off. As always, from your Sky Stay Blue Stock screen. Peace out. God bless you guys.